Okay, hi everyone, good morning. I think we're gonna get started now. It's about 10:30. So good morning everyone, welcome. My name is Allegra Keeler. I'm a research assistant at the CTSC. Thank you for joining us. This is our second diabetes presentation. I think we're doing a total of 4, so this is part 2 of 4. And today we are joined by Joan Altman and Ruben Diaz from the Hospital of Special Surgery. And this presentation will be about eating and moving to prevent or manage diabetes. So the presentation will be done in both English and Spanish. And if you have any questions about the presentation or for us or the presenters, there's a Q&A function you can find at the bottom of the screen. So you can type in any questions and then Joan and Ruben will address the questions either halfway through or at the end. There's always time for questions as well. So also at the end of today's presentation, we're gonna have a short poll just so we can get a sense of how you guys felt about the presentation, if you, how we can improve in the future. And then we're also recording the entire presentation to be posted to our YouTube channel, and we'll be able to share the link with you afterwards if you wanna go back and check it out. And then we'll have Kenny, who's going to introduce everyone in Spanish. So here we go.
Muy buenos días, mi nombre es Kenny Wu, yo soy el coordinador de programas en Welcome CTSC. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes por atender a nuestra presentación el día de hoy. El día de hoy vamos a tener una presentación sobre la diabetes. La presentación va a ser en inglés y español. Y si tienen preguntas en la parte de abajo, hay una sección para preguntas Q&A. Los presentadores del día de hoy son Joan Altman y Ruben Diaz del Hospital for Special Surgery. Y al final vamos a tener una encuesta sobre la presentación. Por favor, llénenla si pueden. Y también esta presentación va a ser grabada. Y si quieren verla de nuevo, ustedes pueden accesar a nuestra página de YouTube. Y al final le vamos a dar el link. Joan?
Hi, muy buenos días. Hi, good morning. My name is Joan Altman, and I work for the Hospital for Special Surgery. Yo trabajo por el Hospital de Cirugía Especial. Yo soy una enfermera. Y soy enfermera por como 35 años. Yo soy la coordinadora de la educación programa por la comunidad. I'm the coordinator for the community outreach program. Y yo estoy aquí con Ruben Diaz. I'm here with Ruben Diaz, que es uno de los expertos en diabetes en la ciudad y siempre en nuestro hospital también. We're here with Ruben Diaz, who's a nurse practitioner, and more, and he's an expert in diabetes. The Hospital for Special Surgery is a specialty hospital in orthopedics and rheumatology. We are considered #1 in orthopedics, and we're very proud of that, and #3 for rheumatology in the nation. We have a magnet program for nursing excellence, and our mission is to provide the highest quality care, improve mobility, and enhance the quality of life for all. Nosotros en nuestro hospital está especializado en ortopedia y reumatología. Somos #1 en ortopedia y #3 en reumatología en la nación. También tenemos un programa de reconocimiento de Magnet para la excelencia en enfermería. Y como los dos somos enfermas. Ruben, ayúdame. ¿Cómo se enfermería? Sorry. Nuestra misión es proporcionar atención en la más alta calidad, mejorar la movilidad y mejorar la calidad de vida para todos. Como Kenny dijo, vamos a tener una encuesta al fin. We are going to have a survey at the end.
Okay, el resumen para hoy, the overview for today, el alcance de la diabetes en los Estados Unidos y Nueva York. Simplemente vamos a hablar sobre en los Estados Unidos y Nueva York la cantidad de personas con diabetes prácticamente. También repasar AADE, los 7 consejos de cuidado propio, y nos vamos a enfocar en 2 en el día de hoy. Nutrición en relación con diabetes y ejercicio en relación con diabetes. Joan?
So today we're going to talk about the scope of diabetes, how many people have it, what it looks like, both in the United States and also in the state of New York where we are. we're going to talk about the American Association of Diabetes, the 7 self-care tips. We'll review them, but we're going to focus on 2 of them, which are nutrition and diabetes and exercise and diabetes.
En los Estados Unidos, en el 2018, 34.2 millones de personas, el 10% de la población, tenía diabetes en esa época. Aproximadamente 88 millones tenían prediabetes. Eso es una de cada 4 personas en este país. En Nueva York, en el 2017, igualmente como la población general, en este estado, 10,5% de las personas en Nueva York tenían diabetes en el 2017. Y más altos para adultos afroamericanos, 14.2%, hispanos, 11.4% y blancos, 8.4%. Se proyecta que aumente esa cifra a 2.3 millones en el 2030, si no intervenimos. Otros 4 millones, el 20% de la población de Nueva York, se estima que tienen prediabetes.
So what is the scope of diabetes in the United States and New York? In the United States, in 2018, over 34 million people had diabetes, 10.5% of the population. Approximately 88 million Americans had prediabetes. That's 1 out of every 4 people. So that's a lot, and most people do not even know if they have prediabetes. That's in the United States. Now in New York State, in 2017, 1.6 million, which is also 10% of New Yorkers, were living with diabetes, so 1 out of every 10. It's highest for Black adults, over 14%. For Hispanics, it's over 11%, and for whites, it's over 8%. This is projected to increase to 2.3 million in New York State by 2030. That's what the CDC says. And another 4 million, 20%, are estimated to have prediabetes.
Repasando los 7 consejos de cuidado propio de la Asociación de Diabetes, podemos ver que en el día de hoy vamos a repasar nutrición y actividad. Nutrición, comer saludable, desarrollar un plan de alimentación saludable. Y la actividad, mantenerse activo, RXI significa como si fuera una receta de medicina. Y gestión de peso, para mantener un peso saludable para su estatura. Anteriormente, en la presentación previa, nosotros repasamos el monitoreo. En el futuro, va a ser el medicamento. En la tercera presentación y en la cuarta presentación, al final, pueden ver que se relaciona más como el estado psicológico y cómo uno maneja los problemas y los riesgos de diabetes.
So prediabetes and diabetes, how do we control? What are some strategies to control and reach remission so we're not sick? So we said we're going to talk about the AADE 7 self-care tips, and today, as we said, we're going to focus on nutrition and activity. Last time we focused on monitoring, looking at blood glucose and recording your blood glucose, and going forward, we're going to be talking about medications in the 3rd of the 4 classes, and in the 4th class, we're going to talk more about problem solving. How do you live with it? How do we deal with all the stressors related to diabetes?
¿Por qué comer saludable? Es la pregunta. Tenemos que saber cuáles son las metas nutricionales que en realidad se pueden medir o podemos trabajar para alcanzar esas metas si estamos cambiando cómo y qué comemos y qué hora comemos. Una de las metas es mejorar o mantener la salud generalmente, el mantener el peso normal para la estatura propia. Tipo 1, diabetes, gestionar, y en diabetes tipo 2, prevenir y gestionar, manejar. En tipo 2 es posible remisión completa o parcial, que significa azúcar en la sangre normal sin haber tomado medicamentos para diabetes por 1 año o más. Presión arterial, el control de la presión, colesterol, mantener o mejorar el colesterol, y también mantener el placer de comer a través de tratar de llegar a todas estas metas. Y solo restringir ciertas comidas cuando está médicamente indicado y respaldado por evidencia científica, que se relaciona a las dietas que las personas remueven alimentos de acuerdo a lo que han leído o han visto en la televisión, y es importante que nosotros lo estamos haciendo con información basada en evidencia científica.
So why should we eat healthy? Well, healthy eating is one of the main tools we have for type 2 diabetes. And our goals of nutrition are to improve and maintain our health, and that might be related to weight or other types of management. With type 1 diabetes, it's management. And as we said in the last course, type 1 diabetics are a small group of the total diabetics. Most people are type 2 diabetics. The goal with type 2 is complete remission. And what the definition of complete remission is normal blood sugar without medicines for 1 year. Also, blood pressure, cholesterol, very important with diabetes because there's a connection between diabetes and heart disease. And we also want to maintain the pleasure of eating. Eating is a very important part of our lives, and we really enjoy it. So we don't want to take everything away, because who would do that? So we want to only limit food choices when it's medically indicated or supported by scientific evidence. And we're going to be talking a lot about that.
Ejercicio. ¿Por qué hacer ejercicio? Los objetivos es mantener o manejar el peso para bajar de peso. Quizá alguien tenga muy bajo peso y necesite aumentar para tener un peso normal. También para aumentar la fuerza muscular de los huesos, o sea, flexibilidad de las articulaciones. También disminuir la disminución de la movilidad, salud del corazón, que tiene que ver otra vez con la presión y el colesterol, y reducir el azúcar en la sangre, mejorar la sensibilidad a la insulina y controlar el azúcar. Prácticamente, el hacer ejercicio reduce el azúcar.
So I exercise. Exercise impacts the sugar in our blood also. So one goal of exercise is about weight maintenance or management. Sometimes people who have diabetes are underweight. Often people are overweight and they want to lower their weight. Also, increasing muscle, joint strength, joint flexibility, slowing the decline in mobility. So as we age, we become less mobile for a variety of reasons. We want to slow that. Heart health, big connection between heart and diabetes, and exercise in and of itself can lower blood sugar.
Cuando vemos una dieta de 2,000 calorías, esa es la dieta típica de un adulto, y esa es la base. Basamos todo lo que hablamos sobre comer en esta dieta de 2,000 calorías. Y cuando uno reparte el plato o la comida, normalmente es los gramos que están indicados y el porcentaje de calorías es diaria. Es decir, que de 75 a 100 gramos de proteína es repartido entre 3 o 4 comidas y llegan al total normalmente de 75 a 100 gramos. Y vamos a hablar sobre qué es una porción de proteína, igualmente grasas y carbohidratos, siguiendo. Grasas, de 20 a 30% de las calorías normalmente deben de ser grasas. Las grasas son necesarias para mover hormonas en el cuerpo. De 45 a 80 gramos diario es lo máximo para una dieta de 2,000 calorías. Carbohidratos, la mayoría de la dieta puedes ver que la mitad de la dieta es carbohidratos, porque son necesarios para energía en el cuerpo, y se reparte 225 gramos por lo menos a diario. Para una persona con diabetes, quizás se pueda recomendar carbohidratos más bajos y normalmente son 130 gramos, pero lo máximo que recomendamos son por lo menos 225 gramos.
Ruben, I'm going to ask you to do this slide in English because you know it way better than I do.
So this slide is based on the foundation of nutrition. Nothing to do with diet. The normal adult diet is 2,000 calories, and it's divided up into, these are the macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. An estimated 15 to 20% of a 2,000 calorie diet is protein. That's about 75 to 100 grams, and this is divided over 3 or 4 meals. This is the daily intake. Fats, 20 to 30% of a 2,000 normal calorie diet is 45 to 80 grams of fat. Fats are necessary for hormones, and carbohydrates also necessary for energy. It makes up about half of the daily diet, and that's about 225 grams. We normally recommend towards the lower end, even as low as 130 grams for someone with diabetes. And carbohydrates are necessary for energy. This is a nutrition label. We just wanted to touch on the nutrition label briefly. The portion size is the first thing that we look at, how many servings per container. And it shows us about how many servings someone would usually eat of a package. It's very important to know the serving size because what you're eating may not necessarily, the amount that you're eating may not necessarily be the whole container. So some people think if they eat, let's say this was a lasagna, if they ate 2/3 cup, they would get 230 calories. Someone might think that if they eat the whole thing, they're only eating 230 calories. But in reality, you're eating 8 times as much if you ate the entire container. So it's important to know the portion size relative to everything else that's below on the label. The calories, important to know if you're looking at a 2,000 daily calorie intake to figure out how to balance your calorie intake. Total fats, this should be limited as well as the sodium. You can see the saturated fats, and we'll talk about the healthy fats versus the unhealthy fats as far as the intake, avoiding trans fats, also sodium, controlling the amount of sodium in the diet, and total carbs. So carbs is going to figure in heavily into blood sugar control. It is still necessary for your daily energy. Fiber is very important to look at the content. It should be 3 grams or greater to have a significant impact on cholesterol and blood sugars. And added sugars, also very important to look at. You want to avoid added sugars. A protein, again, this doesn't have a % daily value next to it because you would measure the amount of grams intake per day, which we reviewed on the prior slide. And nutrients, these are the vitamins, minerals that we should really look at on the food label and make sure we're getting enough of that on a daily basis. The % daily value, that's really important because if anything, when you're looking at a food label, if you don't have time to go through an entire food label for every item you're purchasing in the store, at least you know that on the right-hand side where the percentage signs are, that is a % of how much you need daily. For example, the total fat 8 grams says 10%. So up to 100% of that is how much you can consume in a typical 2,000 calorie diet. It's important to not go over. So 10%, you take 100% of that, that's 10 times 8, that's 80 grams of fat. That would be the absolute maximum. That doesn't mean, all of this information on the label does not mean what your intake should be if you're not on a 2,000 calorie diet. So if you're on a 1,500 calorie diet, you should not be trying to meet 100% of these values. So it's important to know. And the last thing I'll say about the % daily value is a quick glance at the food label. Anything with 5% or less is considered a healthier item. Anything with 20% or higher of % daily value is considered in excess. So on the food label, you can see that the added sugar is 20%. It's not the greatest because it exceeds, it meets that 20% or greater. And same for fat. You can see it's above the 5%. That would be excessive in fat. So it's important to measure that throughout the day. La etiqueta de información nutricional es importante repasarla. El tamaño de la porción es donde primero se ve la cantidad que una persona normalmente va a consumir, que consume un adulto para una caloría de 2000. Si las personas normalmente exceden porque no se fijan en que la cantidad que está en el contenedor, en este caso son 8, puede ser que la persona se coma el contenedor completo y no realice que todo lo que está debajo debe de ser multiplicado por 8 si se va a comer el contenedor completo. Si no es más apropiado comer 2/3 de la taza para que esté consumiendo las 230 calorías y lo demás debajo. La caloría 230 es importante, es basado en una caloría de 2000 diaria y es útil para equilibrar las comidas para no exceder las 2000 calorías. La grasa total, grasas se deben de limitar, igualmente el sodio se debe limitar y las grasas, y como hemos dicho antes, es necesaria, pero es importante no comer trans fats y grasa saturada, también comer el nivel adecuado diario. La sal, no exceder la cantidad de sal. Carbohidratos total, eso figura en el control de la azúcar de diabetes. Es bien importante ver los carbohidratos que es necesario para energía. Fibra tiene que ser 3 gramos o más para tener un impacto en el colesterol y en el control de azúcar también. Y las azúcar añadidas, evitar las azúcar añadidas. Proteína, 3 gramos. Nosotros repasamos anteriormente la cantidad necesaria diaria, no tiene porcentaje porque lo medimos en gramos. Y nutrientes, vitaminas, minerales importantes para la salud diaria. Y el porcentaje de valor diario, solo quería repasar a la mano derecha. Usted puede ver todos los porcentajes y eso indica cuánto debe de ingerir de cada nutriente para no exceder la cantidad diaria. Esto es basado en una caloría de 2000 diaria. Si usted está en una dieta de 1500 diario, por ejemplo, no vas a llegar a la meta de 100%. Pero lo último que voy a decir es, si excede 5% o menos, es considerado una comida saludable. 20% o más es demasiado.
So fats to eat less or avoid. I'm not going to read everything on the slide because we can see what's there. But with saturated fats, we're talking about meat, dairy, and trans unsaturated fats are also can be very unhealthy. So some baked goods, snacks, crackers, stick margarines, that kind of thing. We want to avoid them.
So grasas saturadas, aquí puedes ver cuáles evitar o comer menos. Buscar carnes bajo en grasa, magras, fijarse en los lácteos y evitar esas grasas saturadas que se encuentran en las comidas en manteca de cerdo, manteca de vegetal. Grasas trans insaturadas es mejor no comer ninguna de esas. Y si no es posible evitarlos, comer lo menos posible, que se encuentran normalmente en galletas, meriendas, barra de margarinas, en comidas procesadas.
So fats we want to eat more of, and sometimes people don't realize that. We think all fats are bad, but that's not true at all. So monosaturated, polysaturated, and omega-3s. So the fatty fish like salmon or other fish that have omega-3 fatty acids. You can read all of them right here. Polyunsaturated fats are listed here: corn oil, safflower, walnuts, some seeds, and also monosaturated fats, so canola oil and again nuts, peanut butter, which is also high in fat, but it's a healthy kind of fat.
Las grasas que debe de comer más, las grasas saludables, son monoinsaturadas, poliinsaturadas y las omega 3. Y debajo puede ver la lista extensiva de grasas que se deben incorporar en las dietas y son las más saludables comparadas a las que hablamos anteriormente. Monoinsaturadas, el aceite de canola, aceite de oliva, ajonjolí, pueden ver en grasas monoinsaturadas. Poliinsaturadas, pueden ver el aceite de maíz, aceite de soya, nueces. La margarina, como puedes ver, es la que es más blanda, y mayonesa bajo en grasa. Las omega 3 pueden ver en la linaza, en el atún, y esos son unos cuantos ejemplos.
Fiber is also really important. So we need fiber to move the food through our bodies. And some foods that are high in fiber are fruits, vegetables, and grain products. We want to have whole grains, and so that means whole wheat bread versus white bread, whole wheat flour, and foods high in fiber also help your blood sugar. So it's not just moving the food through your body so we can go to the bathroom, but it helps our blood sugar.
La fibra es bien importante. Los alimentos que son altos en fibra ayudan a controlar la sangre y también mejorar el colesterol. Los alimentos ricos en fibras incluyen frutas, verduras y productos de granos. Normalmente queremos ingerir 25 gramos a 38 gramos diario total repartido entre comidas. Granos, al menos el 50% del consumo de granos deben de ser enteros intactos, compuestos de salvado, germen y endospermo, que son las harinas de trigo integral, el bulgur, avena, harina de maíz integral y arroz integral. Los granos refinados, evitarlo lo más posible, tienen la fibra eliminada, la fibra dietética, y el hierro y muchas de las vitaminas son eliminadas. Y son la harina blanca, harina de maíz desgerminada, pan blanco y arroz blanco.
So vegetables have a lot of fiber, as we just said, and we want to eat a good amount of vegetables. So what does that mean? 2 or 3 servings per day. And a little bit, we're going to show you pictures of different plates that really show how much of our plate should be vegetables. Vegetables, when they're in season, a lot of times they're less expensive. And it's nice to choose different colors, not just because it looks pretty on the plate, but different vitamins are in vegetables with different colors. You may want to go to farmers markets, anywhere where you can get fresh vegetables. It's frozen vegetables are okay too. Not quite as good, but they are okay. And the problem with canned vegetables is that they're processed. And as we talked about food labels a minute ago, look for the sodium because they can be very high in sodium.
Opciones saludables para vegetales, por lo menos ingerir 2 a 3 porciones por día, incluirlo en cada comida puede llegar a esa meta. Busque ventas y cuando las verduras están en temporada es mejor. Elija diferentes colores para una variedad de nutrientes. Puedes ir a los mercados frescos o tiendas de comestibles locales, supermercados. Verduras simples congeladas pueden ser nutritivas. Tienes que leer la etiqueta para asegurar que no tienen otras cosas añadidas como sodio. Igualmente con verduras enlatadas cuidado con la cantidad de sodio. Y es preferido fresco, pero si no puede obtener fresco, en órdenes de salud, mejor congelados y luego enlatados, de acuerdo a lo que pueda comprar.
We also want to avoid drinking our calories. So here's some examples of drinks that are full of sugar. And a lot of people think that it's healthier to drink juice than soda. It's not a lot healthier to drink juice or soda. And I'm going to let Ruben get into the specifics of it since he's an expert on sugar in all of these different items to drink. But water is the best thing to drink. So I'll turn this part over to you again, Ruben. Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. And I'll just briefly say, everyone thinks of bad as soda, and natural drinks like natural fruit juice as better. And it is in a sense because it has additional vitamins and it is coming from the fruit itself. But at the end of the day, sugar is sugar and the body won't differentiate between that when you're gaining those pounds. Often I'll walk into a store and I'll look for organic, and as you can see, still an organic drink on the left-hand side, a sweet tea contains 20 grams of carbs, 19 sugars. 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. In 1 year, if someone drinks 8 ounces, for example, of the 27 grams of Coke, just one 8-ounce cup, normally a can is 12 ounces, you can actually gain 10 pounds of fat over the year, which is 5.4 bags of sugar that you can see on the lower right, an actual 4-pound bag of sugar. Consumption of regular soda increases the risk of type 2 diabetes in adults with prediabetes by 26%, and diet soda increased type 2 diabetes risk by 8% in a study that's a reference below. Es necesario evitar tomarse las calorías. Algunas veces pensamos que el jugo es más saludable y sí, en realidad tiene vitaminas que no tiene otras bebidas, pero el cuerpo no reconoce un azúcar hacia la otra cuando estás aumentando de peso. 3.500 calorías es 1 libra de grasa, y si consumes por un año 8 onzas de Coca-Cola, por ejemplo, una diaria, por el año entero puedes aumentar 10 libras solamente por beber esa cantidad, que equivale a 5.4 fundas de azúcar que puedes ver abajo, y cada funda son 4 libras de azúcar. Consumir soda regular incrementa el riesgo de diabetes tipo 2 en adultos que ya tienen prediabetes por 26%. Y la soda de dieta incrementa el riesgo de tipo 2, de diabetes tipo 2 por 8% en un estudio que está ahí notado debajo.
So artificial sweeteners, a lot of people use them, and it's interesting what Ruben just said about the fact that even diet soda can increase our risk for diabetes. So it's okay to use them some, but if you already have 45 to 60 grams of carbohydrate, and we're going to explain that in a few minutes, in your meal, and you really want a sweet drink, well, it's okay to have a diet soda, but it's not something to be drinking all the time and all day.
Como hablamos antemano, igualmente la soda de dieta puede causar, está relacionado con aumentar de peso. Está bien usar los productos, por ejemplo, soda de dieta con moderación. Por ejemplo, si ya tienes su comida delante de usted y ya está compuesto de 45 a 60 gramos de carbohidratos, que vamos a repasar cómo se aparenta en un plato subsecuentemente. Realmente quieres una bebida dulce, entonces está bien añadirlo, pero esto no es algo que debe hacer regularmente.
The best thing to drink is water. Water or coconut water. You'll see coconut water has really few calories and almost no sugar in it when you look at the label. And water or seltzer water is the best thing to drink.
Entonces es mejor beber agua, como ya sabemos, o agua de coco. Ten cuidado, pueden ver que el agua de coco ya tiene azúcar. Es azúcar natural, pero como hablé antes, es azúcar. Agua seltzer, todas esas bebidas son preferidas sobre consumo de soda o jugos azucarados o soda de dieta.
In terms of making healthy choices for meats and proteins, we're looking at meats, beans, and fish. So lean meats that don't have a lot of visible fat, or if they have visible fat, cut it off before you cook it. High-fat meats like hot dogs, ground meat, and meats or fish canned in oil are to be avoided as much as possible, or if you're cooking ground meat, cook it enough to get all the fat off of it. Grilling, baking, and broiling is better than frying. So use frying when you're having a special occasion.
Opciones saludables para carnes y proteínas. Carnes, frijoles y pescados. Comas más carnes magras que son desgrasadas y grasas saludables la mayor parte del tiempo. Pollo, pavo, pescado, cerdo, ternera. Recorte el exceso de grasa, quitarle el pellejo, la piel al pollo antes de cocinarlo. Limite las carnes altas en grasas como los perros calientes, carne molida o carne de pescado enlatado en aceite. Los métodos de cocinar preferidos son a la parrilla, hornear o asar las carnes y solo freír para ocasiones especiales.
So I think we're going to go ahead until the end because we're a little behind. So keep putting your questions in the questions and answers, and we'll get to them at the end. So what does your plate look like? Here are a bunch of different plates and also some drinks and some fruits and some desserts. Think about whether these are, if you think any of these are healthy, and we're about to talk about what a healthy plate does look like.
Solo queremos que se fijen los platos debajo, cómo se ve su plato típicamente y unas bebidas y meriendas, frutas, y vamos a progresar a los próximos platos para realmente ver cómo se deben de dividir.
So carbohydrates are the key. Every portion of carbohydrate has about 15 grams of carbohydrate. So one portion, 15 grams. And for every meal, we should take in about 3 or 4 portions of carbohydrates. So that's about 45 to 60 grams. And then we're going to look at some healthy plates that have the correct ratio.
Los carbohidratos son clave. Cada porción, una porción de carbohidrato, se considera aproximadamente 15 gramos. Para cada comida debes ingerir de 3 a 4 porciones de carbohidratos que equivale por lo menos a 45 a 60 gramos de carbohidratos en cada comida. En las siguientes vamos a ver unos platos saludables.
So here's an American healthy plate and what we call a healthy soul food plate. And we have a number of other ethnic groups where people may eat from different ethnic groups to show this. But you'll see on both of these, on the top left, it's a quarter starch. That's a quarter carbohydrate. So a quarter of the plate should be carbohydrates. A quarter should be protein, and half should be healthy vegetables.
And I do want to point out that although a quarter of your plate is starch, please remember that that doesn't mean that's a portion. That quarter of your plate, that looks to me like 3 portions of pasta, which is 45 grams of carbs approximately. And that would be a healthy amount, which is what we were discussing on the previous slide, that 45 to 60 grams of carb consumption. Como puedes ver aquí a la mano izquierda, un plato saludable de una dieta típica americana, y a la mano derecha una dieta típica afroamericana, saludable. Un cuarto del plato tiene carbohidrato, comida con almidón. Izquierda, mano abajo, la proteína, un cuarto del plato. Y a mano derecha, mitad del plato son vegetales bajo o sin almidón. el cuarto de plato que tiene carbohidrato se considera una porción adecuada. No quiere decir que es una porción de carbohidrato. Es, por lo menos, yo me estoy fijando dónde está el almidón, el carbohidrato, y se aparenta como 3 porciones. Es por lo menos 45 gramos de carbohidrato que antemano habíamos dicho que es una porción normal. Esto es basado en un plato de 9 pulgadas. This is based on a 9-inch plate.
So here's one that's more Latino on the left, more Criollo, and the one on the right is more Mexican, but similar. We have a quarter starch on the left, on the right we have a tortilla, we have protein. So we have examples for different groups. And I want to add something about a 9-inch plate, because this piece of paper that I just folded is about 9 inches. And most plates, dinner plates are pretty huge. So we need to think about really what is 9 inches. I'm not saying buy new plates, but when you think about these portions, they're smaller than a lot of people's typical plates are.
Estábamos reiterando el plato de 9 pulgadas, que se fijen por lo menos en el tamaño antes del consumo. Y otra vez, mano izquierda, un plato criollo que se considera por lo menos el arroz con la habichuela, la proteína, y a la mano derecha los almidones, y un plato mexicano típico.
And over on the left, we have a healthy West African plate. On the right, a healthy Chinese plate. And it's the same thing, 9 inches. We have a typical starch, a typical carbohydrate, a typical protein, and typical vegetables. And on the Chinese plate, there are many, many options with vegetables. And it's divided a little differently, but it's the exact same idea. Carbohydrates, protein, and half vegetables.
Igualmente, otra vez, un plato del oeste de África a mano izquierda, y a mano derecha comida china. Tenemos muchas opciones saludables en cómo dividir su plato.
So here we talk a little bit about how much do we really eat. So non-starchy vegetables, which are the ones that don't have very few carbohydrates in them. How much is a half a plate? Well, when we said vegetables are half of the plate. So when we say vegetables are half of the plate, that could be 2 cups of raw vegetables, 1 cup of steamed vegetables, 1 cup of vegetable juice could count also as vegetables, or a combination of the above. And how do you measure that? With 2 semi-open hands, and we have another slide that explains that a little more. With carbohydrates, we want 1/4 of the plate carbohydrates, as we've said many times. So it shouldn't be more than 1 cup of cooked rice, and that's not necessarily a big coffee cup. That's an 8-ounce measured cup. 1 cup cooked pasta, beans, 1 big potato, not this big, a smallish one, 2 tortillas, 2 slices of bread, and with meat, how much is 1/4 of a plate? And here it also shows 1 small fish fillet, a turkey fillet, a chicken fillet, one drumstick, half a breast, a beef fillet. So these are pretty small portions.
¿Cuánto comer en cada plato, en cada porción del plato, y cuáles son las opciones? Puede medirla con las manos, mano izquierda. Los vegetales bajos o sin almidón se puede medir con 2 manos. Próximamente voy a repasar que va a proveer una lista de vegetales. A mano derecha, mano arriba, 1/4 del plato con almidón, 1 taza de arroz cocinado, es 8 onzas, no cualquier taza. Y las carnes y los sustitutos de carnes que se pueden incorporar a mano derecha abajo en el plato. Aquí igualmente lo mismo, pueden ver cuáles son las opciones. Vegetales bajos o sin almidón, puede ser la espinaca, zanahoria, las lechugas, las remolachas, los granos, papa, el tamaño de un puño cerrado, arroz otra vez, las 8 onzas de de taza en medida de arroz cocinado, y las proteínas que repasamos antemanos, que cabe en la palma de la mano, es la cantidad de proteína apropiada. El pescado puede ser de los dedos al final de la palma, abajo de la mano.
So I love this slide that Ruben put together, because how do we make healthy choices? On the left side, if you look at the top left picture with the zucchini and the pepper and the tomatoes, that has 20 grams of carbs. And on the right-hand side in the middle, there's half a bagel that also has 20 grams of carbs. You're getting so much more food if you eat from the left side. On the bottom left, you'll see blueberries and raspberries, which is quite a bit. And in the middle, you'll see a little bit of rice, about this much. Same thing with the spinach and the small potato and the beans and the spaghetti. So making healthy food choices allows us to actually eat a lot more food often and be much healthier.
Tomando decisiones saludables. Queríamos comparar platos que tienen 20 gramos de carbohidratos en ambos lados. A la izquierda puede ver el equivalente, igualmente a la derecha. Puede ver una rebanada de mitad de una rosca de bagel. Igualmente tienen la misma cantidad de gramos de carbohidratos que los vegetales a mano izquierda. El arroz, la pasta, es por lo menos de 1/3 a 2/3 de taza cocinada, y la papa a mano derecha abajo, pelada, hervida, tiene la misma cantidad que, por ejemplo, toda la espinaca en el plato a mano izquierda. Queríamos proveer relativo una comida hacia la otra cuando estás escogiendo sus comidas.
So here's the portions that Ruben was referring to earlier. So for protein, we want to, it should be 1 serving is about what fits in the palm of your hand. Now everybody's hand is different, but this is just general. The vegetables, 2 hands open. Fruit, 1 hand open. Starches is about, 1 serving is about the size of your fist. Fats, very much the tip of the fist. And cheese, a serving of cheese is about the size of your thumb.
Otra vez repasar cómo medir con la mano, especialmente cuando no tienes etiqueta de nutrición de comida. La proteína a la palma de la mano, los vegetales bajo o sin almidón. La cantidad adecuada son 2 manos abiertas, que es la mitad del plato. Una fruta, el tamaño de una mano abierta, ahuecada. El arroz, 8 onzas de arroz, un puño cerrado, igual con una papa. Las grasas, la cantidad de la punta del pulgar, y un servido de queso es el pulgar completo.
So here's a list of different things that would be 1 serving of carbohydrates. And remember, we said earlier that every meal can have 3 servings of carbohydrates in it. So take a look at this list. I'll list a few of the things on it. 1 slice of bread is 1 serving, 1/3 of a cup of rice, 1/2 cup of oatmeal, 6 saltines, 3 cups of popcorn, so you can get a fair amount of popcorn from it. So milk, 1 8-ounce cup of milk, and so these are some things that give you an idea of 1 serving of carbohydrates.
Otra vez, cuando estás componiendo sus comidas, que es una porción, 15 gramos de carbohidratos, puedes repasar la lista. Después de la presentación va a estar disponible en YouTube si quieres leerlas con más detalle. Otra vez, una rebanada de pan es una porción. 3 tazas de palomitas de maíz. Puedes comer más si comes un pan que es más comprimido, y 6 galletas de soda con un desayuno, y comerlo junto con algo que tenga grasa.
And for fruits, Same, also here's a list of a small apple, right? A lot of times in the stores they sell these huge apples. We're talking about a small apple is 1 serving, a small banana, kiwi, half a grapefruit. Here's strawberries and blueberries, cantaloupe. You can have a whole cup of cantaloupe, and it's right now is summer, so it's a good time to get it. Juice, only half a cup, which is about like really a small amount. So you're better off eating a whole fruit than having juice.
And we can get very specific as well if you want to know what's about 3.5 inches round. Maybe a tennis ball or a baseball would be an adequate fruit size.
Oh, that's good.
Que es una porción de frutas. Puedes ver, es una manzana pequeña. Y si quieres más detalles, es por lo menos 3.5 pulgadas, que es el tamaño de por lo menos una pelota de béisbol. Un kiwi grande, media toronja, son unos cuantos de los ejemplos.
And thinking about ways to mix food together. So if you're going to have in your breakfast, one slice of toast can be great along with 2 large egg whites, half a cup of oatmeal, a cup of skim milk, and a small banana. That's a pretty filling breakfast, and it fits within the guidelines that we're talking about.
Para componer una comida, damos un ejemplo, un desayuno, puede ser una rebanada de pan de trigo entero, con una cucharadita de margarina, 1/4 de taza de sustituto de huevo, o mejor, 2 huevos, la clara del huevo, media taza de avena, 1 taza de leche descremada y un guineo, una banana pequeña que mide por lo menos de 7 pulgadas. Por lo menos tiene esa comida 45 a 60 gramos.
And for lunch, a cup of vegetable soup. Read the label if it's canned, or in a box. 6 soda crackers, a small sandwich with 2 slices of whole wheat bread, and it lists here exactly what should go in the sandwich, and a small banana. And as Ruben said, the size of a baseball is a good way to think about the right size for a piece of fruit.
Y el almuerzo pueden ver una taza de sopa de vegetales con 4 a 6 galletas de soda, nueces saladas, pavo con pan de trigo entero y 1 onza de queso y una manzana pequeña. Solo estamos dando ideas para un almuerzo y ahora para la cena.
So dinner is similar, 4 ounces of chicken breast, 2/3 cup, and we really have to measure because it's hard to imagine what is 2/3 cup of brown rice, but half a cup of cooked carrots and a whole grain dinner roll, salad with fat-free dressing, and a small slice of angel food cake.
And even if you wanted, instead of 2/3 cup of cooked brown rice, you can just have a whole cup, 8-ounce cup of cooked brown rice and eliminate the dinner roll. So you can balance it out. La cena, normalmente para mantener por lo menos 60 gramos de carbohidrato, 4 onzas de pechuga de pollo, 2/3 de taza de arroz integral cocido. Si quieres, se puede comer una taza completa de 8 onzas de arroz cocido integral y eliminar el pequeño panecillo, media taza de zanahorias, ensalada y una pequeña rebanada de pastel de ángel, un pastel de bizcocho puedes comer también incluido con la comida.
And then snacks. So there's all kinds of different snacks, and here are some examples. So some fresh fruit and a 1/4 cup of cottage cheese, 2 rice cakes, and a tablespoon of peanut butter that doesn't have any sugar added. So read the label. It should just be peanuts and maybe a little salt, but not sugar. 1 apple. So if you cut up an apple and you put some peanut butter on it, that's a really nice snack. A hard-boiled egg, you can put some dressing on it if it's low carb, or 5 whole wheat crackers. And there are many other options. These are just some ideas.
Estas son ideas para meriendas, para mantener de 1 a 2 porciones de carbohidrato, que quiere decir que en cada merienda debe de consumir de 15 no más de 30 gramos de carbohidrato, un huevo hervido con 5 galletas o 4 a 6 galletas saladas, 2 pasteles de arroz con 1 cucharada de mantequilla de maní es buena idea también, o media taza de fruta enlatada que diga sin azúcar añadida, o una fruta fresca con cuarto taza de queso cottage también pueden comer.
And there's a lot of technology. There are a lot of apps you can download and work with that are very helpful for goal setting, for nutritional information, and for support, and also just on social media.
Con la tecnología puedes establecer metas, obtener información nutricional, utilizarlo para apoyo y utilizarlo en las redes sociales para apoyos de otros. Y probemos unos ejemplos que están disponibles en este momento, las aplicaciones de teléfonos o de computadoras que puede usar para lograr sus metas.
So sometimes we get tired of our own food and we're just not sure what to make. Look online, or if you have any books about how to trying new recipes. Remember, broiling, baking, stir frying, grilling, or poaching is safest. Removing any obvious fat and skin from chicken. If you use pork for flavor, you might want to try smoked turkey. Low-calorie cooking sprays instead of butter or oil when frying or sauteing. You can actually use applesauce instead of oil in some baked goods, and it can come out very, very good. Adding vegetables to your stews, using egg whites as opposed to the whole eggs, and then trying to use other herbs that don't have sodium in them, so we're lowering our salt content.
Preparación de alimentos saludables y consejos de cocina. Pruebes recetas nuevas. Asar, hornear, saltear, asar a la parrilla para obtener alimentos saludables, retirar la piel de las carnes, pollos, carnes bajo en grasa, en lugar de usar carne de cerdo para darle sabor, por lo menos, por ejemplo, a las habichuelas puede intentar usar pavo ahumado, usar aerosoles para cocinar de grasa en su sartén. Puede usar salsa de manzana para hornear en vez de aceite en por lo menos, por ejemplo, un bizcocho, y agregar verduras y clara de huevo, utilizar en vez del huevo completo, y usar hierbas, pimientas y ajos para dar sabor en vez de el sodio.
And then in terms of an overview of healthy food selections, fat-free, low-fat milks, lean cuts of meat, as we just talked about. Eating fish a couple of times a week, 2 times a week, if you can. Have one meatless day. Eat more fruits and vegetables, increase fiber, smaller serving sizes, make half of your plate vegetables, as we've said a few times, and know your portions of fruit and eat sparingly. Even though fruits are really healthy, they also have a lot of sugar in them.
Repasando, elegir alimentos saludables, lácteos bajo en grasa, cortes de carnes bajo en grasa, comer pescado por lo menos 2 veces a la semana, frutas y vegetales, elegir frutas enteras en lugar de jugos de frutas, aumentar la fibra en sus comidas y comer porciones más pequeñas, hacer mitad de su plato de vegetales sin o bajo en almidón, y reconocer sus porciones, especialmente con las frutas, para comer en moderación.
So when you go out to eat, a lot of times you get a plate that's maybe bigger than we would normally eat. So if you immediately put that other half to the side, maybe you can bring it home or eat it for lunch the next day. It's easy to just keep eating. Now, right now, we're not going out very much, but at some point that will change when the pandemic ends or we go to the next level of opening. Split an entree or dessert. You're with somebody, maybe you'll eat half of it. Side dishes are sometimes very high fat and high calorie. If they have vegetables, you can ask them to steam them. Sauces and gravies, salad dressings, you can have them on the side and add them sparingly, little bits. Some restaurants do have calories listed on menus. Take a look if they're there. And compare the information about calories to make the best decisions for you.
Consejos para comer fuera. Divida un plato principal o postre con otra persona. Comer solo la mitad de la comida y puede llevar lo que queda para almuerzo el día siguiente. Los platos secundarios pueden agregar muchas calorías, quizás evitarlos o compartirlo otra vez más. Sustituir verduras al vapor o ensalada en lugar de papas fritas. pedir las salsas y aderezos al lado del plato para tener control sobre la cantidad que estás ingiriendo y buscar las calorías en los menús y compare la información de calorías para ayudarle a tomar mejores decisiones antes de pedir la comida.
So to keep your grocery shopping healthy, never shop hungry. I know for myself, when I shop hungry, I buy all kinds of things that are not good for me. Having a list is good. Choosing low-fat products, whole foods, as we've talked about. We talked about salt and sugar. Look at the label. And as we've said a couple times, the label lists ingredients in the order that they are the highest. So when you see trans fat or fat or sodium at the top, then you know that that food is not the healthiest choice. So be as safe as as healthy as you can when you shop.
Cuando vayas de compras, es mejor comer antes de ir de compras, no comprar cuando tenga hambre para elegir comidas que son más saludables y no de impulso. Tengo una lista cuando compre para enfocarse en los alimentos saludables que fue a comprar. Otra vez, bajo en grasa, alimentos enteros, evitar sal y azúcar, o por lo menos bajo en sodio y azúcares añadidas, y leer las etiquetas de alimentos en por lo menos 2 a 3 ingredientes en la etiqueta son más saludables, y enumera los ingredientes en orden de mayor a menor. Si el sodio es alto en la lista, puede contener mucho. Si es último, contiene menos.
So being prepared, making a meal plan. If you know you're going to cook at home or you're going to eat out, plan for that. If you're going to eat on the go, how can you do that in the healthiest way? Plan ahead. And stocking up with healthy foods at home.
Preparación, hacer un plan de comidas semanales, cocinar o comer fuera con menos frecuencia si puedes. Saber qué vas a comer durante tiempos activos que necesitas algo rápido, almacenando comidas entre comidas saludables y fuera comidas que desencadenan comer en esos momentos activos, que por ejemplo mejor tener zanahorias en mano que las papitas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's better to have carrots in your hand than potato chips. I like that. I totally agree with that. So what do we do when we move? We need to move as much as we can, as long as it's healthy for us. If there's a reason that it's not healthy for us, then we're not recommending that. But anything you do where you can move safely is going to help your blood sugar and your overall health. Cleaning your house, dancing. You know, we aren't going to dance studios now or to the gym because of COVID-19, but we can put on videos and dance at home. Parking further away, getting off a stop before your normal stop on the bus or the train and walking another 5 or 10 blocks. Walking outdoors. If you have a garden, work in the garden. And when you can take the stairs, as long as it's healthy for you.
Es importante mantenerse activos en la vida diaria mientras más pueda y en cuanto su salud le permita y su nivel de movilidad, limpiar su casa, aparcar más lejos el carro, salir una parada antes de su parada normal en el tren o en el autobús para caminar más, trabajar en un jardín, bailar. Yo sé que hacen mucha zumba, caminando al aire libre y tomar las escaleras lo más frecuentes posibles en vez del elevador.
So any kind of physical activity can be good. Anytime we're moving our body, it takes energy. So as I said earlier, speak to your healthcare provider, make sure it's safe for you. Do you have any mobility restrictions? But if you don't, go ahead, start slowly and build up.
Hacer ejercicio es bien importante, la actividad física, planificar repetitivamente, mantener el impulso y hablar con su proveedor de salud acerca de empezar un programa de ejercicio y comience lentamente.
So the American Academy of Sports Medicine recommends aerobic exercise. And aerobic exercise, that means when you're breathing a little faster, your heart rate is a little faster. The more you can do within limits, the better. So they recommend 150 minutes a week for weight maintenance and health benefits. And if we're trying to lose weight or get stronger, up to 300 minutes per week. So that's a lot. And resistance training is important. And try not to have more than 2 days between exercise sessions. Now, again, this is for somebody that has an overall healthy picture and that your doctor has agreed that it's safe for you to do.
La recomendación de ejercicio, si está saludable y has hablado con su proveedor de salud, son 150 minutos a la semana, que son 30 minutos diarios, 300 minutos máximos, mínimo, si quiere pérdida de peso, intensidad aeróbica. Si es bien vigoroso el ejercicio, son 75 minutos a la semana, y no entrenar, no esperar más de 48 horas antes de hacer su próximo ejercicio para mantener los beneficios.
And if you can, working with your healthcare provider to get a referral to a dietitian, registered dietitian and nutritionist can really be helpful. That when working with someone can help you. We gave you some ideas, they're very specific, but talking to somebody that can really help you with your diet can make a big difference. No two meal plans are alike. You can create something that really works for you. It's possible and certainly likely with diabetes that you may benefit from medication. So you should be working with a healthcare provider, your doctor, or like Ruben, a nurse practitioner, who will work with you and help you decide and recommend medicines if you need them. And if things aren't working, if you aren't able to control what you're eating and you keep gaining or your sugar isn't going down, go back and talk to your doctor again, your nurse practitioner, whoever you're seeing.
Asóciese con una dietista registrado o registrada, nutricionista y proveedor de atención médica para que le demuestre cómo incluir sus alimentos favoritos y hacer su plato. No hay dos planes de comidas o dietas iguales. Debe de ser individualizado para usted. Pregúntele a su proveedor si los medicamentos son apropiados para usted para alcanzar sus metas, y si no está funcionando igualmente para formar un plan nuevo.
So remember to partner up. Find support from friends, family, neighbors, and your doctor and a dietitian. Plan ahead and make intentional, healthy food choices. Be as active as you can. What are some of your favorite ways to be active? What do you like to do? And what gets in the way? What stops you? And think about that. Having goals that are realistic is more likely, they're more likely to be successful, and set a time frame for your goals.
Asóciese, encontrar apoyo de otros, planificar y haga elecciones e intenciones de alimentos saludables, manténgase activo, que lo ayuda a mantenerse activo, que lo prohíbe, establecer objetivos realistas para implementar un cambio duradero y establecer un periodo de tiempo para lograr esas metas que sean realísticas.
Thank you for attending this program. We have a few things coming up. We have, here are some of the references which you can get later. And also we have some information how to reach us. Is that right, Ruben? Right. So here are the emails for Kenny Wu from New York Presbyterian, the Clinical Translational Science Center, and Ruben and myself. Also, this whole presentation is going to be on YouTube, and you can get this from your site, or if you write it down here, or if you're on a computer, you can click on it. We also have a survey coming up. So I'm sorry, Ruben, you want to say all this in Spanish, so I just kept going.
Also, los recursos que le mostramos antemano están disponibles cuando repases esta lectura de hoy en YouTube. Aquí puedes ver la información de contacto para nosotros y también cómo tener acceso al YouTube de lo que hemos repasado en el día de hoy. Y va a haber una encuesta que sigue.
So you'll see a poll on your screen, but I'm not sure. Okay, here it is. So you just go through and answer the questions. It's in English and Spanish, and we'd be so grateful if you would fill it out. And while you're doing that, we're going to be answering the questions. We have some questions and answers in the questions section. I don't know. Do you want to take this part, Kenny, and read them?
All right, so if you have any questions, please, you can ask your questions, the Q&A section at the bottom. In terms of the poll itself, all answers are anonymous. Both answers are in English and Spanish, and they're separated by a /. Skip any questions you can't answer, and thank you very much for answering. Instrucciones para la encuesta, todas las respuestas son anónimas. Las preguntas y respuestas están en inglés y español. Están separadas con una barra inclinada y omita cualquier respuesta que no pueda preguntar, que no pueda contestar. Y muchas gracias por responder. Si tienen preguntas, hay una sesión de Q&A. Por favor, pongan sus preguntas ahí.
And I don't have any questions directly related to the slides themselves.
So, right, there's a question, are we going to receive literature presented in this webinar? And I think we're going to send out, is that what you just said, Ruben? I couldn't hear you, the slides?
Well, I know as far as the literature for these slides, you can, when you access the YouTube link,
Right.
and you review the whole webinar, you will have access. And then Kenny can speak to any type of PDF or anything in addition to the YouTube. But for now, the YouTube is being recorded to be accessible. The webinar is being made accessible on YouTube.
People, I'm sorry to cut you off, because a couple people have written that they can't submit the survey at 11:40, so it must have been right now. So Kenny's the expert on the surveys. I'll look into that.
That's okay. We should be able to see the answer from our side. Even though all the surveys are anonymous, all the answers are anonymous, we should be able to see when you clicked on the answer. So don't worry about submitting it. Just
Okay. Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So seems like those were all of our questions, because you'll be able to see it on YouTube if you want to review anything, and also you can contact us and you'll see that information on YouTube. But you're welcome. You can get your questions answered that way, but you're also welcome to ask any specific questions now.
Ruben, can you go back to the contact information? Oh.
A lot of slides.
Yeah, so that's our contact information. If you have any questions, or if you want to make let's say, questions for the next presentation, you can email me directly. That'll be kew@4005@med.cornell.edu. That's our YouTube link account. So if you can get it from here, you can email me and I'll send you the link as well.
Let's see, that looks like there might be one or two more questions, if there's anything. Thank you. So it looks like we don't have any questions about diabetes, and we'll give people a minute or so if you have any other questions. One question is, what is the next date? So it's 2 weeks from today, is that right?
Next date, yeah, it will be 2 weeks from today, which will be on the 30th, June 30th. I will send out the link next week, as usual.
Someone asked, do you recommend a strictly vegetarian diet? So you want to answer that, Ruben?
So that's a big movement now, and we're thinking about whether or not we should include a whole different presentation on diet. So we are advocating for plant-based diets, but you really should see a nutritionist because in engaging in a plant-based diet, you may be missing out on those vitamins and minerals that are found in the carbs and proteins that you will most definitely be missing out on that you may need to supplement. So anything you do, I really recommend that you engage with someone who's an expert in it, like a nutritionist, so that they're helping you balance out your meals. Books are great, but I feel like if you're on a fully plant-based diet, you should know what you're doing because plant-based diet does not mean that it's necessarily healthy based on the selections you make. Even if they're all plants that are green and you're avoiding the reds and other colors, you may not get what you need. So I do think plant-based diets are a good way to go, but with support from a nutritionist and a healthcare provider. I hope that answers the question. If you have a more specific question, I can answer it.
Take a look and see if there's anything else on it. I have type 2 and I was told not not to eat too much. How much do you eat, I think, if I got that question?
So there are 3 pieces to eating: what you eat, how much you eat, and what time you eat. So there are different components, but as far as how much to eat for type 2 diabetes, there is no one specific diet, according to research, that fits everyone. The primary diets that you should be engaging in a regular diet that everyone else eats, because if you eat the standard 2,000 calorie diet, 45 to 60 grams of carbohydrates per meal with 15 to 30 grams snacks in between, then you should be meeting the maximum carbohydrates per day. If you came to me and you had challenges in managing diabetes or really wanted to reduce the amount of medication you're on, then we would have to engage in the lower ends of about 130 grams of carbs per day to effectively do that, and also engage in weight management. Definitely 5% of weight loss from your current weight, see metabolic parameters change, and up to 10 to 15% of your weight if you're looking to put diabetes into remission.
Maybe you could summarize that a little bit in Spanish.
Oh, so alguien pregunta, alguien dice, yo tengo diabetes, ¿cuánto puedo comer? Usted debe de comer como todos los demás. Una dieta de 2,000 calorías, los carbohidratos de 45 a 60 gramos con cada comida y por lo menos 1 o 2 meriendas de 15 a 30 gramos de carbohidrato, que es lo que repasamos en el día de hoy. Si usted viene a donde mí y está teniendo problemas en manejar diabetes, le voy a pedir que rebaje los almidones, los carbohidratos, a no más de 130 gramos por día, que es como de 30 a 45 gramos cada comida máximo, es reducido, y pérdida de peso. 5% de pérdida de peso, vas a ver cambios metabólicos en sus parámetros, sean la presión arterial, sea el A1C, y el perder de 10 a 15% de su peso nos lleva al nivel de poner diabetes en remisión y posiblemente reducir o eliminar medicina.
So there's one other question. This will be the last one. And thank you so much, everyone, for staying over. We really appreciate it. Why is it that I'm very small in weight, but my sugar tends to go high? What can I do? I'm losing too much weight. So I'll answer a little bit about that. One is, if you're losing weight and you don't want to be losing weight, go to get checked out. There are a lot of reasons that could be going on. One of them is diabetes, but there are many others. So please go to the doctor. And I'll let Ruben follow it more, what else you would say, and then maybe say it in Spanish.
Yeah, definitely looking to see why you're losing too much weight. And if you're small in weight and your sugar tends to go high, you definitely should know, if you don't know already, whether you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes. That's very important in the approach to managing the blood sugar. And again, working not on, if you're completely at a point where you don't know what to do with your diabetes, if you're just working with a primary care doctor, I highly suggest getting an endocrinology referral and working with someone that's not eliminating your primary care doctor, that is working with someone else who will work jointly with you and your primary care doctor to focus in on your diabetes specifically and help get that A1C down and get those sugars down.
Thank you. So we're going to end now. Anything else anybody wants to add? Anything else we need to do, Kenny, before we end?
No, I think that will be it. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending the presentation today. We will see you in 2 weeks, June 30th.
Right.
And it'll be around the same time, and I'll send out the link next week.
And any questions I didn't answer, or if you have any further questions, again, you have our contact information on how to reach us, and I'll be glad to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, everybody. And Weill Cornell and the CTSC, we really appreciate working with you and working with all the people out in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan and Ruben. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.